Accompanied by Guam Congresswoman Madeleine Bordallo, a congressional delegation of 7 representatives and their wives paid the Guam Legislature a visit this morning simply to learn more about the island. Minnesota Congressman John Klein, who chairs the Committee on Education and Workforce, led the CODEL.
Although the primary purpose of our trip, the whole trip that we're taking, is to look at education both for younger students, what we call K-12, of course, higher education, and see how that interacts with the workforce, or people coming through school ready to go to work.
For many of them, this was their first trip to Guam, minus brief stops for refueling. As for what was discussed, Education Oversight Chair Speaker Judy Wampat questioned Klein on his recently passed Success and Opportunity Through Quality Charter Schools Act.
Talk with the parents who feel like this is their only hope. This is a dream fulfilled, that they now have a chance for their child to get a good education that will prepare them to go on to college or to a meaningful career.
Klein says he was unaware of the situation on Guam and whether or not the act could be applicable. As for reformulating teacher preparation programs on Guam, the Minnesota congressman says he shares Guam's concerns, adding it is an important issue. As for workforce development, Klein says it is not limited to a certain demographic.
But in general, we're trying to make it easier for anybody who's looking for work to get the kind of training that they need, the skills, the certificate they need for the job.
But talk wasn't limited to education and workforce, as Speaker Judy Wampat raised concern over the Jones Act and cabotage laws. She asked the CODEL on help in seeking a waiver to these laws, as she called them restrictive and an impediment to Guam.
So it makes it very hard for our local economy to grow, and even for our local businesses to actually thrive when things becomes very expensive. So, help us in that respect so that we too can help ourselves at the same time to grow our economy.
As for the buildup, along with several Chamorro activists, Senator Ben Pangilinan says based on the supplemental environmental impact statement, the Marine's relocation to Guam appears to be anything but balanced.
And when that imbalance occurs, then burdens fall on the communities that have to carry the load. And in this case, the burden, at least from the supplemental EIS, falls on the civilian community, that the revenues that are going to be generated by the movement of the Marines to Guam, by construction and so forth, is going to be less than what we need to do to beef up our education, our workforce training, our crime, police department and such.
Klein replied, saying having been stationed in Okinawa once as part of the Marine Corps, he's aware of the sensitivities that are involved.
I think that the move is an important move and a good move, and I'm heartened that the governments are working together to address the issues you brought up and others. So we'll see how that plays out.
So how did Wampat feel about the meeting?
I was expecting something a little bit more, with more substance in terms of really what it is that they can do, but it's non-committal at all, even to the point of listening to our concerns.
After meeting with lawmakers, the CODEL met with the military before leaving this afternoon. KUAM has learned that their next destination is to Vietnam. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintaniza.